It was around 11 p.m. on a Tuesday night. I was sitting at home, watching a wildlife documentary with a cup of coffee. I was exhausted from the day, and my eyelids were getting heavy. The narrator's voice echoed in the background, and the warmth of my coffee and the soothing nature of the documentary were lulling me into a light doze. After a long and stressful day, I was trying to savor this calm moment. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. Who could it be at this hour? Startled and slightly uneasy, I got up. A deep male voice at the door called out, "Delivery!" I thought to myself, what delivery? Delivery companies don't work this late. As it was nearing midnight, this unexpected visitor made me both curious and apprehensive. Despite my exhaustion and the edge of sleep, this sudden and strange situation had completely awakened me. I got up and headed to the door, my heart beginning to race. When I opened the door, no one was there, just a box sitting on my doorstep. I looked up to see the person who left it quickly getting on a motorcycle. I called out, but he didn't respond and rode away. "Hey, wait!" I shouted, but my voice was drowned out by the sound of the motorcycle piercing the night silence. I looked back at the box. It had no labels or names on it. Who could have sent it? A box left at my door so mysteriously at this hour. I felt a chill down my spine. I brought the box inside, my heart still racing. It wasn't heavy, but I had no idea what might be inside. I placed it on the kitchen table and examined it carefully. The box offered no clues. No name, no sender address, no note. It was just an ordinary cardboard box, but the mystery of its contents made it seem anything but ordinary. I had to decide. Should I open it or call the police? My curiosity overpowered my fear, and I began to open the box. When I opened it, I found only a piece of paper inside. I picked up the paper and examined it closely. It was filled with random letters and numbers from top to bottom. These undecipherable sequences intrigued me even more. At first, I thought it was a silly joke, but deep down, I felt it was something serious. I spread the paper out on the kitchen table and looked it over again. I scrutinized each line, each letter, and number carefully. These meaningless sequences didn't form any coherent message. Maybe it was a code or a hidden message. Whatever it was, I had an irresistible urge to solve this mystery. I sat down at my computer and carefully entered everything written on the paper. I double-checked to make sure every letter and number was correct. I typed quickly and finally took a deep breath before hitting the search button. The search results appeared immediately, and at the top was a site with a name consisting of random letters and numbers. I hesitated for a moment, my heart pounding. "What is this?" I muttered, but my curiosity won again, and I clicked on the site. The screen went black, and after a few seconds, the homepage appeared. What I saw shocked me. The homepage had photos of my house from different angles. The rooms, the hallway, the kitchen, there were pictures from everywhere. The worst part was a photo directly showing me sitting at my computer at that very moment. I stared at the screen. "How can this be?" I muttered. A chill ran through my entire body. The thought that every corner of my house could be watched horrified me. Had they installed cameras? Who were these people? And why were they watching me? I shut down the computer and stood up. I checked the windows and doors but found no traces. My eyes scanned every corner as 1,000 thoughts ran through my head. What should I do now? I needed to find a way out. But who could I trust? Should I go to the police or try to solve this on my own? I had never felt so helpless. The idea that I could be watched at any moment from anywhere made me incredibly paranoid. The thought of not feeling safe in my own home was unbearable. I wanted to go outside, but what if I was being watched there too? For a moment, I took a deep breath and tried to calm down. To solve this situation, I had to stay cool. But how could I stay calm with so much fear? The only clue I had was this mysterious paper and the photos on the site. I needed to pull myself together and come up with a plan. Just then, I heard a noise from upstairs. My heart almost stopped. Could someone be in the house? I thought, but I had checked everywhere. How long had they been there? 1,000 thoughts ran through my mind as fear completely took over me. I couldn't stand it anymore. Even the thought of someone being in the house was terrifying. I grabbed my phone, wallet, and keys and immediately headed outside. Fortunately, they were right on the table next to me. I quickly grabbed them and headed to the door. My hand trembled as I turned the doorknob and stepped outside. The cold night air hit my face, but it didn't soothe the fear inside me. Standing in front of the door, I looked around. Being alone on the quiet, dark street was somewhat comforting, but the unease inside me hadn't passed. With thoughts echoing in my head, I walked a little further from the house. As I looked at the house from the street, I saw a human silhouette in the upstairs window. My heart started pounding wildly. At that moment, I was sure that someone was indeed in the house. My hands started to shake. I took out my phone and, with trembling hands, called my closest friend. After a few rings, they answered. With a trembling voice, I said, "I need to come over urgently. I have something to tell you." Without waiting for their reaction, I set off immediately. My only thought now was to reach a safe place. I didn't have the courage to go back home. As I made my way to my friend's house, the fear and paranoia inside me continued, but the mere possibility of being safe was somewhat comforting. I finally reached my friend's house. When they opened the door, the look of surprise and concern on their face made me realize how bad I must have looked. I went inside and sat down, recounting what had happened in one breath. The mysterious box that arrived late at night, the meaningless letters and numbers inside, the website I found on the internet with photos of my house, the noises from upstairs, and the silhouette. After listening carefully, my friend said, "This is very serious. We need to call the police." We called the police and explained the situation. They sent a team to my house immediately. When the police arrived at my house, I followed them from my friend's house. They entered and carefully examined every corner, but found nothing. No traces, no signs, no strangers. Everything seemed in place. The police said, "We found no suspicious activity here. What you saw may have been a trick of your imagination." I thought to myself, this can't be real. I didn't imagine this. Suddenly, I remembered the website I had accessed from my computer. After explaining the situation to the police, I decided to return home and check my computer. The fear inside me hadn't subsided, but I needed to uncover the truth. I sat down at my computer and opened the browser. I found the site link in the history and clicked it. However, the screen that appeared shocked me even more. 404, page not found appeared on the screen. The site had been taken down. It no longer existed. I put my hand to my head and thought, had everything been erased so quickly? Who did this and why? Was I really being watched, and who was the person who entered my house? I had 1,000 questions but no answers. The mystery deepened. But without enough evidence, the police didn't pursue the matter further. A full year passed. During this time, I moved to a new house, hoping to erase the traces of what I had experienced. However, I still couldn't get that terrifying night and what followed out of my mind. I often had nightmares. I dreamt of being watched in every corner of my house, hearing the noises from upstairs, and seeing that silhouette. One night, it was late, nearing midnight. As I thought about what had happened, suddenly the doorbell rang. A deep male voice from the other side of the door called out, "Delivery!"